Okay, so you know how some stories like really get under your skin? Like
Yeah.
they kind of explain everything, you
Oh,
know?
yeah, absolutely.
And I think for a lot of people, the idea of the fall of man kind of has that feeling to it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So we are going to do a deep dive into that today.
Right. From the source, right?
Yeah, Genesis unpacking this whole foundational story.
It's huge.
It is.
It really tries to get at, like, what is the human experience
Yeah.
about? You know?
Yeah. Totally.
So let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
Adam and Eve, Garden of Eden. What was that original picture?
Well, I mean, when you read it, you get this picture of like total perfection, you know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
this innocence and this like harmony between the two of them,
Uh-huh.
and just this beautiful, like direct connection with God.
Like, it doesn't get any better.
Yeah. No suffering, no conflict, just pure relationship.
But then things shift, right?
They do.
The serpent enters the picture. What
Yeah,
happens?
the serpent, which I think is often seen as like a symbol of temptation,
Right.
introduces this idea of the forbidden fruit.
The tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Right. And God said, like, do not eat this.
They don't do it.
Right. But then Eve takes a bite and then convinces Adam to join in.
And that's it.
And that's it.
That's the turning point.
It's like the pivot point for everything.
It is. How does the text describe what happens next?
Well, one of the things that always gets me is just like how immediate it is.
Oh, really?
It's like, boom.
Like instant karma.
Yeah, they realize like, whoa, something has changed. And then comes this like overwhelming guilt and sadness.
Shame.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because they go from this like walking with God to hiding from him, like terrified.
Afraid.
And that close relationship they had, it's broken.
That's right.
And then, of course, there's the expulsion from Eden.
Right.
And they lose access to the tree of life, so no more eternal life.
So it's a big fall.
It's a huge fall.
It's not just about them, though, right?
No.
The text brings up suffering and death for all of humanity.
Yeah.
Like, that's part of the fallout.
Yeah, as a consequence of this choice.
As a consequence for everybody.
Yeah.
And this brings us to the idea of original sin.
Right.
What's your understanding of that concept?
Well, as I understand it, it's this idea that their sin wasn't just this, like, isolated thing.
Right.
It, like, passed on this flawed, sinful nature to everyone who came after.
We inherited it.
Yeah, we inherited it.
Wow.
So in a way, we're all kind of carrying like the baggage of that original choice.
That's heavy.
It is.
And that's why it's so important theologically, right?
Yeah.
Because it like sets the scene for our whole relationship with God.
Yeah, like if we are inherently flawed
From the beginning.
from the beginning.
Yeah. What does that tell us?
Well, it suggests to me this idea of a fundamental separation, you know, and that we need something to bridge that gap.
And that's where redemption comes in, right?
Yeah, the text talks about Jesus Christ offering that way back.
Making things right.
Yeah.
So the core belief in Christianity is that Jesus' sacrifice provides atonement.
Right.
It's about making amends for that sin
Yeah.
and finding a way to restore that connection with God.
The connection that was broken way back when.
Since the fall.
Yeah, since the fall.
You know, one thing that really stood out to me in the text
Yeah.
was how they described God's punishment as like very severe, hard.
Yeah.
They're really emphasizing it.
Yeah, they're saying it comes from his perfect righteousness.
Right.
Like it's not arbitrary.
No, not at all.
Why do you think it's important to grasp that?
Well, I think it shows us how serious sin is in this framework.
Mm-hmm.
If God is like the ultimate standard of goodness,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
then going against that standard, it's not a small thing.
Right.
It's a huge deal.
It carries a lot of weight.
The punishment reflects that.
Yeah.
It's not a slap on the wrist.
No.
It's a serious consequence for a serious offense.
Yeah. Okay, so let's like try to put this all together.
Right.
The fall of man, this act of disobedience in Eden, it's not just some story in an old book.
It's so much more.
It's like the key idea in Christian theology. It explains why we are the way we are,
Right.
why there is sin, why they're suffering this feeling of separation from God.
And ultimately it points us towards redemption.
Yeah, it's like the setup for the whole story.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's setting the stage for everything that comes after.
So thinking about this idea of inherited consequences,
Yeah.
like if the first thing that happened after the fall was this broken relationship with God,
Uh-huh.
I mean, how does that change how we think about our own relationships
Right.
and the ripple effects our actions have on others?
Food for thought.
It really is.
It really makes you think about the impact we have
Yeah.
on each other.
Sure.
Yeah. And how those consequences can kind of echo through time.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Like,
Right.
echoes.
Echoes. That's powerful.
It is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
It's been fun.
It has. Yeah.
Yeah.